So then we are back with the more understandings from the Renewed Covenant from the Aramaic English translation of the Word. This translation is from the original documents from the prophets of old, indicating to us then the prophecies of the end, and the understanding that comes at the moment from the time of Shlomo, when he was the king of Israel, gives us very important descriptions that can be useful when people are thinking of their own government, the way they should act while they are then exercising positions of responsibility. And in fact, the Proverbs is also very important understanding, because parts of it is related then with the relationship amongst politicians. If you read very cautiously, you find it. And then most importantly is understanding then personal perceptions during the time of work. It's extremely important separating those areas, because sometimes people find mixing work with the personal remarks and personal perceptions not related with the work environment. As long as a person does not hear or doesn't have any kind of indication during the work environment, then those personal remarks and personal perceptions should be then spoke outside. Because truly is a lack of respect for the viewers watching skirmishes in very important areas of government in terms of viewpoints and remarks not related with work. As long as those viewpoints are then spoken, they should be respected, but outside of the perimeter of the parliament. It's very evident, because it's not work related. A person can have an opinion about many areas, and people sometimes they get a bit defensive, but is it truly work related? Because it's not fair for any politician in high responsibility positions then to venting out their frustrations regarding personal remarks and personal perceptions, while then people, the taxpayers, are listening. They want resolutions to the problems of the nation. They want more jobs. They want responsibility from the government in expenses and how they should run the government. But obviously there is no place for skirmishes regarding personal remarks, neither than perceptions. And if a person has a personal telephone, then it should be turned down while the person is exercising the responsibility in the government. If a person has a telephone from the government, it should be only used for government use. And then if there is a problem, there is a telephone near of the parliament that can be used for personal reasons, but after the person is informed. And this would have an understanding further what then the people are expecting from high positions, because speaking on a bar is not the same as speaking in a government's house. And sometimes people are not having their emotions, neither their composure. They are not in line with the services of the government's house. Some people, they speak in a very important places as if they were speaking on a bar. It's a lack of self-restraint and understanding what it is and what not. So that understanding from these viewpoints, we can also find many of these areas of government and how people should relate with each other. In Proverbs, you find a lot of these understandings that can be truly useful and helpful before then the people start complaining and then forcing a person out of the position of responsibility for the lack of composure. As adults, then, we must understand how we should act in our work environment, and what is personal is personal. Sometimes a person can, during the break time, being wise and taking care of some of the personal problems during the time of work, while a person is at work but on break. But then if there is situation regarding perceptions and remarks, then it should be talked outside. Government's house, it's very important for the people then hearing the responsibilities being delivered and then in exchange for their wages, they are respected. However, if they are then talking with no respect and pointing fingers and speaking of simply remarks and perceptions of sexes, it doesn't fit. And we understand a lot of people are learning, but there are other problems around the world, and the world is uniting itself, and we must be very concise and sensitive, because there are other problems much more important. However, we find much more of these on Proverbs from Shlimon, and there are lots of government relations on those Proverbs. It can be very useful, and then we can move on. So please stay tuned, much more coming up, because then I'm going to investigate some of them. Please stay tuned.